How's it going, everybody? So today we're going to be unboxing a computer case. This is the Classico Storage Master, and if the name doesn't sound familiar to you, it didn't to me either. I just need a new network attached storage box here at the house, and I was trolling Newegg and Amazon for cases that held a lot of hard drives. They could have been rack mount, they could have been stand up, whatever, and I didn't want to spend a lot of money. And this one I think was on sale on Newegg for like 50, 55, 60 bucks, somewhere around in there. And it advertises that it holds 12 hard drives. I only need it to hold 9 plus an extra for when I, like an empty bay for when I need to swap one out. So I figured I'd give it a try. It says the brand is Kingdom. Haven't ever heard of them either. So we're just gonna open it up. I haven't had it out of the box yet. We're gonna pop it open and see what it looks like. Oh, I hear stuff shifting around in it. We clearly opened, even though it looks like the top of the box, it's clearly the bottom. I see the feet of it. So that could be good because it means it will, ooh, that wasn't pleasant. Could come out right side up. Last piece of styrofoam. It does have a top piece of styrofoam, but it's stuck in the bottom of the box, so that's fine. Just throw the box over there. Regular styrofoam, nothing too fancy. Regular. Come out of there. So far, looking like a plain black case. Okay, so we've got ventilation on the top. It's got all mesh. It's got a dust cover. I'm guessing it's magnetic. Yes, it is magnetic. So that comes off easily. It does have rails for either, I'm guessing, 120 or 140 millimeter fans. There was not a manual anywhere in the box. We'll see if there's one inside the case itself. But we've got two USB 2.0s, a 3.0 headphone microphone, power reset, and traffic lights. So that's kind of standard. No 5 1/4 bays, but does have an all mesh front, so that's nice. And then it actually has, I guess if you wanted to put an AIO or something vertically or fans back here, it's got mesh for that as well. And it looks like the entire front panel is all mesh. Maybe you could see through it, I don't know. It looks like it's got some vertical mounting brackets for graphics card. I don't know that you could really see that too well if you had it mounted here because of the way the mesh is done, but it would certainly get airflow. So let's, ooh, those screws are on there. Okay, let's get a screwdriver. They are sort of thumb screws. Sort of meaning they're put on really well. Oh, they are captive. That's cool. Not something I would have necessarily expected for a $50 case, but you know, I'm not going to complain about it. Side panel just slides right off. Let's see what we got. Okay, we've got our hard drive bays. We've got two more sleds. Those two look like they're going to be a problem though, so I'm not really sure how that's going to work. We got their nice Kingdom brand here. See our USB-C header. Nothing remarkable. It does have a cover for a separate compartment for the power supply. We do have ventilation for the power supply, and we have another removable dust filter. This one is not magnetic. It just kind of sort of jankily fits in there. I would just take that off and throw it away, to be honest with you. And you can see another hard drive bay down here. That sort of fits. It slides out the back though, not super convenient if you've got this up against a wall or something to take it off and clean it. So kind of bummer. It'd be better if it came out of the side or out of the front, but it is a $50 case, so you kind of get what you get. And for my application, that shouldn't be a problem. I'm not really planning to take it apart all that regularly. It's going to be more of one of those set it and forget it kind of things. this screw might have been cross-threaded when it was put in. It does not want to come out. Now, it is not captive. Everything else is captive, except this one, I guess. It does look like they kind of bunged up the case when they put it in a little bit. It's kind of, they skinned up the powder coating pretty good. So, on the back side, we can actually see, okay, we've got more hard drive bays down here. Those were the bracket that we saw on the underside. We've got all of these guys, and they've got a little, it's not zip ties like you see on a lot of more premium cases, but they do have some cable management stuff back here. It does come with 4 fans. You got 3 in the front, 1 in the back. Those are Molex, which probably is going to be a negative for a lot of people. For me, it's actually not, because I'm going to be using, I mean, unless it hooked to a 3-pin header on the motherboard, all the SATA power is probably going to be used with drives. So having Molex for the fans is really not a big deal to me. I do have some extra fans that I might put in the top so that we've got intake and exhaust, just because of the amount of drives in here. It looks like if you really fill these drives, it's probably, I'll flip around so you can see it a little better. If you really fill all these drive bays, it's probably going to obstruct a fair bit of the airflow coming through, because I don't know if you can see too well, but the perforations on the side of these drive bays are not great, so I'm not sure how much airflow they'll get through them, or how much the airflow to the other components is going to be interrupted once you have these all populated. So I may go ahead, because it does have quite the panel on the front with all the porosity, but to pull air in it, I need to create a negative pressure. So might go ahead and put some fans up here to kind of create a negative pressure coming in from the front to cool everything else. I'm going to go ahead and take one of these drive sleds out, just kind of see what it looks like. We'll flip around here. It looks like it's 4 screws per drive sled. So I'm hoping it's latched on something and not just going to fall out when I undo these. That would be kind of inconvenient, but we'll learn together. And number 4. Okay, so it's hooked on something. It didn't just fall. That's nice. Let's see if we, yep, you just pick it up and it slides out. And there you go. You can see the porosity on the side a little bit better. So it's just kind of got like hex holes punched in it, and then when you put drives in there, they're going to block those hex holes. So I don't imagine you're going to get a lot of airflow through these. So if you do intend to use this for storage server, NAS, that kind of thing, you are probably going to want to populate these top fans, which you can buy. I mean, obviously, I don't know if anybody puts RGB fans in their NAS, but you can buy just regular fans, not too big deal. So that's not huge. Let's see if we can get this thing back in here. Yeah, maybe. There we go. I think we're secure. Yep. It's got little tabs here and here that just kind of latch down into these little cutouts. We'll go ahead and put it back together. You can see every time you screw a screw in, it is going to scuff up the powder coating. That's kind of standard though. Yep. In the process of tightening the screw, we came unhinged. It's okay, I'm that way anyway. Make sure we don't cross thread our screws here. They do get a little snug. First I thought it was cross threading, but it may just be powder coating. I've had that problem with other things before where I'm sure their measurements were right before it got powder coated, but after powder coating they were a little off. Oops. So it is a little bit of a beast to hold those little, it would not hurt if these notches were just a hair longer so that they really latched over it more, because when you start to kind of torque on it to screw the screw in, it starts undoing the hinge. There we go. So they could have made those little latch pieces just a little bit longer, and it would have made this process a lot simpler. But could be operator error too. And then I did mention earlier there was not a manual in the box. I thought we might find one inside here, but there isn't. So we do have our bag of screws, some rubber grommets. I don't know exactly what those are for, but no manual anywhere. So it is a pretty straightforward case though. You probably don't need one, but if you're a person who likes manuals or likes to read manuals, not happening here. I guess that's cost cutting for the $55. I also thought there might be like a QR code on the box or something where maybe they had a digital manual, but that doesn't seem to be the case either. So I guess they figure it's pretty straightforward and you can kind of figure that out on your own. Let me double check the box, but I did not see any type of QR code or indication. Nope. Okay, so yeah, you're flying on your own. I did a quick Google search to find the manual for this case. Just went to Google and typed in Classico storage case ATX manual. And this one seems to be, I do not know this website. I don't have any familiarity with manuals.plus. So I hope I don't like get a virus here or something. I am in no way endorsing this website. It is the right manual for the right case. It says it was updated as soon as December 25th, which is actually quite a ways after when I recorded the original video, so it's even got some more up-to-date information than I had at the time. I'm thinking this is the part that most changed, the dark rock, and you'll see why here in a minute. But it's got tags to everything you could need. You can click on it, it'll hop around, and a pretty comprehensive manual. So there is a manual if you feel like you need one. If you don't need one, that's great. I built it originally without it and found this after the fact. But it is relatively comprehensive if you do feel like you need that, and this is where I found it. But pretty simple case, just standard ATX case. I'll flip it back this way. I would probably remove these guys and just use these 8 bays and then the 2 that are down here underneath. Those are probably going to be the 10 that I use. It seems to me like these 2 are just kind of in the way. I'm not exactly sure. I mean, right here particularly, there's a clearance issue. It looks like any kind of drive that you tried to put in here, I mean, you could get like a solid state 2.5 inch, but any kind of like spinning drive that you would try to put in here is definitely going to collide with this tray. So I'm not really sure, unless they just leave that room there for you to remove these for maybe a graphics card or something, and then you can put your trays down here, or your drives down here. I'm not exactly sure what the purpose of that is, but I'm probably going to pull both of these trays out and just throw them on a shelf somewhere and just keep these 8 and then the 2 that are on the underneath side. So that's about it for the Classico storage. There's nothing too noteworthy about it other than it's cheap and it's got a lot of hard drive bays, and that's not super common these days. I will say it's got a couple 2.5 inch drives there. That's about it for those though. For something that sort of markets itself as a storage chassis, I might have liked to see in a 5 1/4 in a bay up front. You could put anything. You could put a spinning drive or a CD drive. You could put a tape drive, an LTO drive, or any number of other things up there. So for something that intentionally markets itself for storage or NAS kind of purposes, it would have been good, in my opinion, for them to have some kind of front expansion. But they went for the full porosity. They might have used a model of an existing case or something else, an OEM case that they just slapped a brand on, and and there might not have been a lot of thought put into that. But that could have been a place that they could have made an improvement, maybe, in my opinion. And maybe I'm being too particular about that, or expecting too much out of a $50 case. But things that tend to be marketed more for NAS or storage, having some kind of input capacity, even if they had like a you could put a hot swap bay, an LTO drive, a spinning drive, any number of things in one of those 5 1/4 bays, that would be really applicable to a storage box. And so that would have been nice to see, but not the end of the world. When I went around to check and see what the price of this case was, This was the listing on Newegg where I originally purchased it. As you can see, it is out of stock, but it has started popping up under a slightly different name, this Dark Rock name. That's why I pointed that out on the manual earlier. So now it's the Dark Rock Classico Storage Master, and it is a little bit more expensive than I paid for it. I think I was more in that like 55 to 60 range. It has gone up a little bit. It's also available here on Amazon. But maybe they put them on sale. I don't know. I haven't checked. I've never heard of Northwest Computers. None of these are affiliate links. I'm in no way endorsing any of them, but they've got it listed here as well, still under the Classico name, without the Dark Rock edition. But so it is still available, just a little bit different price point than I bought at. They may put them on sale from time to time. You just kind of have to keep an eye on them. They do have this new spin, this Classico Max, which I haven't really looked at, but a little bit more expensive, might be something else you're interested in. I would just maybe keep an eye on them, see if they ever put them on sale, and see if they get them down closer to that $50 to $65 range. If you have any questions about it, hit me up in the comments. I appreciate your time today and coming along with us as we kind of take a look at this and see what it is. Stay on the lookout. We'll be actually building our NAS in this. That's a video coming in the future. And hope y'all join us for that one too. Thanks a bunch.